To Morehead State University for this edition of the Eagles Sports Coaches Show. Talk a little tennis first. Kevin Fulton is our guest. And, Coach, thus far, how's it been going for the men and women's programs?
I feel like we're on pace to where we think we're going to be by the end of the year. One thing you definitely don't want to do is see your team play great at the beginning of the year because I feel like they peak too soon. The girls have had an extraordinarily hard schedule, but they have really kind of come together. I think the team is solidifying as a unit. I think we've talked in the past that tennis and golf are probably the two hardest sports to coach in college because you get these kids who their whole career are about me. And now all of a sudden it's we.
Yeah.
And we've been preaching a lot in practice and trying to put these kids in leadership roles where they understand that the more that we work together, the more success that we can have. And we were actually in practice yesterday, and I brought up a point. How many of you have worked hard in your career, junior career, to get to this point? Of course, everybody raises their hand. And I said, now, how many of you did it by yourself? All the hands go down. And that's what we're trying to work towards. I feel like the schedule that we did put together is allowing us in different sections to see where we are at this point. And so far, if I had to grade us, I say we're a B right now.
Well, I know that you had some good players returning and you had some younger players. You're trying to get all that mixed. How's that been going thus far this year?
Well, we brought in, like I said, we had a young man here on campus last year, Kevin DeLigny, and, I affectionately want to call him Two Bounce. And the reason why I say that is there is never a time that I've seen a ball bounce twice in front of him. He may not always make that shot, but he's going to get to every ball. He's been a very pleasant surprise. We didn't quite know where to put him in the lineup. He's very talented. We started him out in the middle. He's kind of moved his way up here the last couple matches. If you have a chance to come out and watch this kid play, he's a lot of fun to watch. He plays a lot of excitement. Him and Sevi Day have been playing great doubles together. We actually, I talked to my assistant Meg, and we talked about teams. And former players kind of helped us out. Bradley Bryan said, you need to put these two together. And you look at it on the outside, you think there's no way that team can work. But they played very well together. So they've actually become our #1 doubles team. We got everybody else back except for Bradley Bryan and Lavelle Metcalf on the guys' team. And, we're a year older. We got a year more experience. We got a year under our belts as far as getting these guys to buy into our concept, and it's really worked well. On the girls' side, we got 7 girls, but we only got 6 girls that are eligible right now, and they've done a great job. Alexis Garrett, a freshman who came in from Las Vegas, has really done quite well. A lot of it is from her determination when she plays. I've been very happy with it. We got Jessica Montemayor back, who was all-conference. Alex Young, who I felt has been snubbed 2 years in a row. She beat the Player of the Year last year in the first round of the conference tournament. Victoria Cran, Brooke Helms, who I think if we look it up, she's 14-2 in conference play and it's never been all-conference.
Yeah.
That's,
That's a tough one right there. You mentioned the schedule. You've got about a month before the OVC starts, right?
Absolutely.
So between now and then, as a coaching staff, with both the men and the women, what do you want to get accomplished?
Well, I think right now what we're trying to do is kind of put the last pieces in place in the lineup. We've got a couple of guys on the guys' team that really you can interchange the parts, and we're trying to see if there's a separation between those few players to who's going to rise to the top and be our final piece in the lineup. You're trying to figure out, do I have the best doubles teams in place? Are we putting these kids in the right place in the lineup to give them and ourselves the best chance to win? And you're really trying to develop this last month even more continuity with the team. I think the more that you can get these guys to understand that this is a team sport, and I keep saying that over and over, it's like a repetitive record, you can do magical things. I think you look at basketball, you can look at football, and tennis, like these sports, in college, it's not a series. It's not best of 3 or best of 7 or best of 5. If you can get kids to click on all centers, you can beat a better team in any day.
Tell us a little bit about, you mentioned the team and the chemistry. Would you, as a coach, maybe switch partners now for doubles, or do you set that beforehand and let it go? Because, you mentioned how you want to see progression, but sometimes as a coach you have to make different subs in order to get your point across and maybe get that double teams better.
Absolutely, Jason. And one thing that we try to do here, and it's been the same at all the stops I've been, we teach a basic doubles system. We want to keep it very simple. And on paper, we should be able to put anybody together and it should work. But you're absolutely right. It doesn't always work that way. And you'll actually see teams that did great last year that are struggling this year. And one of the things you try to do, especially now before going to a conference, and we just thought, if we back up a little bit, you're talking about what are you trying to do this last month, is you put some different combinations out there. We're going to play 3 matches in the next 6 days on the guys' team, and I'm not going to put the same doubles lineups out there all 3 times. I did it last weekend. I was kind of scared about it at first, but you saw people come together. And chemistry, no matter if it's sports, if it's relationships, if it's work, it's got to be there.
I know, and the goal of the non-conference season is to get them playing at their peak when you head into the OVC season, because, as you said, that's what it's all about. You want to win a conference title. You want to, be in competition to have a chance to move on to the next level.
Absolutely. And, that's the one thing I keep telling, the first 3 or 4 years here, I didn't have a senior on the girls' team. And, we had a lot of injuries on the guys' team, and I tried to tell them that, people are like, well, this schedule's too hard, or we're playing this team, and this team. I said, it doesn't matter. Obviously, you don't ever want to lose, but at the same time, as long as we're getting better, that's all that matters. If I had any players here, and if I mention this question, all we have to do is take care of what? I guarantee every one of them would say details, because that is really the difference between winning and losing, being successful and unsuccessful, is paying attention and taking care of the small things. I brought up Ray Lewis to him the other day. I'm a Cincinnati Bengals fan, so I hate to mention a Baltimore Raven, but Ray Lewis said greatness comes from doing a lot of good things well every day in practice, day after day on the competition, and day after day in life.
Tennis is probably, as you said, like golf, a lot of the things, it's a individual team sport. And, and day after day, it may get monotonous to these young men and women that, at practice, but that's something that they have to do, because to get better, you have to do the little things, because if you don't practice the little things, then it's a waste of time being out there.
I've seen very few players in, I don't want to say my age, but my 41 years of being around, that practice great and play bad, and play bad but practice great. But there are players like that, and you try to make these kids, because really in reality these are kids. They're young men and women, but they're still maturing mentally. They're still maturing physically. You try to get them to understand that if you give a half effort in practice, you can't turn a switch on in a match. Practice should be hard. It should be challenging. And the match should be the fun part. And, as coaches, if you ask Tom Hodge this, if you ask Donnie this, if you ask Matt and Jamie, you don't remember so much the wins. I mean, there's few wins in my career, and even as being an assistant and playing, that I'd stick out, but you remember moments. You remember seeing things come together. You remember a van ride, or you remember how such and such handled things. And that's really what I feel is going to help this team because they really care about each other.
Tell us a little bit about what's coming up for the men and women. I know that you really appreciate when the students or the staff or even the community comes out to the center.
The louder, the better. I actually downloaded a stadium noise song to play in practice yesterday. One of my kids said, "Is this a live album?" I said, "No, it's not a live album. This is stadium noise," because tennis in college, it's the only time outside of Davis Cup that it gets crazy. And we want all the people in here that are eating in ADUC and people who would like to see a tennis match, come out. The girls play tomorrow at 1. The guys will probably start around 5 o'clock. We're playing Lindsey Wilson. Both teams are top 15 NAIA team. Their number one girl is 6th in the country. Their number one guy is 3rd in the country. And come see the atmosphere. Be loud. Wear your blue and gold, and let's have some fun.
And, of course, you got some other matches coming up, and Western Kentucky even is rolling in town. That would be a big match to come to.
That would be a great match to come to. I love Jeff. Jeff's a great guy. He's a good friend of mine. But for some reason, it's always exciting when we play Western Kentucky. It gets loud. It gets crazy. I like to compare it to neighbors playing in the backyard, playing basketball. It gets a little crazy.
Kevin, always a pleasure you being here. We'll get you another update before the OVC tournament goes on. Good luck. Once again, tomorrow, Lindsey Wilson at the Eagle Center, which is the home of the tennis courts. We want you to have a good crowd. We appreciate your time. Good luck.
Happy Valentine's Day, big boy.
Thank you. Kevin Bolton, the tennis coach at Morehead State University. We'll come back with Tom Hodges after this break on the Eagles Sports Coaches Show. All right, we're down. Okay. When we come back, are you all ready on the camera? Well, hold on. It fell off the guide.
There was a crescendo going. We were ready.
We were ready, but it fell off. Now, let's see. Get my sound man. I think I got it back. All right, we're ready. All right, in 5, 4, 3, 2. We are back at the Adrian Dorn University Center. And
Let's call it a show.
Yeah.
I mean, goodness, it won't get any better than that. I can guarantee everybody.
You know, everybody's applause broke my
it was that overwhelming.
Yes, broke my headset as I try to fix it once again. I don't know.
Andrew got here late, where there are no signs posted. There shall be rowdiness in the ADUC today for the Eagle Sports Coaches Show because the man that taught Charlie Sheen everything he knows about winning, Andrew Getz, decided he just didn't want to show up on time today. After he had bumped, he had rearranged the schedule on us. Did you know that, Jason, that he had rearranged the schedule? I was flexible. Kevin was flexible. But evidently Coach Getz just decided he decides when he shows up, where he shows up.
You know that's part of being very adaptable to you. The fact that
I'd say he has something to do with your microphone malfunctions here. There's got to be some part of him involved in that process too.
Well,
everybody's accountable, Jason.
Budget cuts. We may never get another microphone.
It's tough. It's tough out there.
We'll try to fix this on the fly. But Coach got a big win last night over Jacksonville State. Team plays a lot better, it seems like. And last night we put together a great game.
Yeah, last night was a nice game for us, Jason, as we took on a Jacksonville State team that's very athletic with the second leading rebounder in the conference and Danielle Vaughn. They had a week to prepare. We were coming off of one-day rest from our game at Eastern Kentucky. So it was going to be a tough game for us. We knew that going in. I was really proud of our energy and our effort throughout the course of the game and securing that big win at home.
Of course, last night, we'll get in this, that it was Play for K night. And, of course, one of the great parts, Kay Al, a great women's basketball coach, a great administrator. But a lot of people wore that pink last night, and I know that it will help a great thing in her research efforts. She's passed, but her memory lives on with everything she does and everything the women's game will do for her in that Play for K week that we have.
Right. The Women's Basketball Initiative, much like men's basketball, has Jimmy V Foundation, Coaches versus Cancer. Those are all men's basketball initiatives in the fight against cancer. Women's basketball is the Play for K. Think Pink. You've heard it rebranded several different ways, but February 10th through February the 20th, all women's basketball teams are encouraged to wear pink and support against the fight against breast cancer. Proud to be a part of that and be involved with WBCA and Play for K initiative. Every dollar raised goes directly to breast cancer research. That was Coach Yow's initiative, that she wanted not $1 spent on anything other than cancer research and finding a cure, something that she was very passionate about. So we're certainly proud to continue her legacy on.
I know Total Care Pharmacy sponsored it last night, provided some T-shirts and some nice mugs, and, of course, over at St. Clair, Morehead State gave some tickets to some cancer patients who came. You know, you don't want to know where they're at. You kind of give the tickets anonymously. And the Look Good and Feel Better Club kind of came, and that was a great thing. But as you know and everyone knows, cancer has touched about everyone in this room and on this campus. And for last night, it was a nice touch to see as many people in pink as we did.
No doubt about it. Annette Watts, who's the head coach at Jacksonville State, a good friend of mine. She was actually on Coach Yow's staff in the early 90s, so I know it was special to her as she sees the sport continue to grow, and through its growth continue the awareness of breast cancer and really one of the leading cause outside of heart disease of fatality among women. So it's really nice to see support against such a great and admirable cause outside of the game and outside of just sheer fan support.
Going back to Jacksonville State for a second, a lot of players came up with some big numbers, maybe season high numbers, but I like the fact that it was a lot about the team. I mean, it was pretty balanced. I mean, you had Linda and Courtney, but Amisha Jones is coming into her own as a scorer and as at the point guard. Shar Harris looked like getting back into the Oda Shar, and Kenzie Arledge had big numbers. And then, even your bench players got into the act last night.
No doubt about it. Probably our most balanced effort that we've seen in a while, and that was much welcome. We've been getting great, stellar efforts from Courtney Lumpkin and Linda Dixon, our two senior guards, who have been averaging right around 50 points combined for us. We have been lacking in those other spots. So for them to still have nice production last night, and for other young ladies to step up and perform, that'll be exactly the recipe we need as we head down the stretch.
You mentioned going down the stretch. We only have 3 regular season games left, so this season is dwindling down a little bit.
And you know what that means? That means there aren't many coaches shows.
That's true.
That I'll be invited to.
I don't know. Andrew may invite you.
I don't know. It's
he gets
really troubling. That Sunday, I told you, that's Sunday nights when the emails go out, before I open it, there's some anxiety there. Am I on the docket? Am I not on the docket? I was on the docket first, then I got shuffled around. Women's basketball is very flexible here at Morehead State. We're fine. Felt like Kevin Fulton deserved top billing. He was the top guy. We're okay with that. We're okay with that, but we're down to a couple weeks left in our season. This valued time together here in this quaint studio that we've created here at ADUC is coming to a close, so we've got to make the most of our time.
I had a lot of people say they may just tape it and then replay your parts all season long at home.
We're in talks with syndication. Us, Matlock, the Golden Girls, maybe Seinfeld, Friends. Our freshmen are tremendous, huge Friends fans.
Need to get that good.
I think we can slide in there. What do you think?
Get that good syndication contract for the first run.
Residuals.
For the first run.
We got it. Yeah, we got to have
because
residuals.
we don't care about the second runs because you'll make less and less.
I feel like today's show with the start that we had is going to be earmarked as one of the best.
Got your crowd today. I mean,
I
you got your crowd. I mean, last night in the postgame show, you even had a group that you acknowledged in the postgame show.
The Kane Gang.
The Kane Gang.
The Kane Gang. You've got to watch the Kane Gang. Former President Dr. Nelson Grody and his wife Wilma and Dr. Gene Duncan. Yeah, they're the Kane Gang. When they lock up the women and children, when they get on the move, it's bad business. And when they gave us a vote of affirmation going out of the arena last night, my night was complete.
Yep, patted you on the back. Of course, they didn't use the cane on you. They could have used the cane on you.
Been known to. When we're losing 5 in a row, I was on the business end of that cane.
But it's good that, as you have known in your 2 years here, the fact that Morehead State is a tight community,
yes.
And there are a lot of history. Dr. Grody did some major things here while he was here as president, was here as a professor, too, and an administrator before moving up to the president. And that says something. When you're a former president, you're still in the community, and you still try to make it to as many basketball games as you can.
Yeah, Dr. Grody and his wife, Wilma, have been tremendous to Hillary, my wife, and myself in our transition.
Well, they probably like her better.
Well, who doesn't?
That's true. That's true.
I'd be lying, especially on Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
If you're listening, Hillary, I love you. Happy Valentine's Day. God bless. She's much with child right now, or unborn son, so I've really got to suck up to my wife right now, Jason, before Cooper Jackson gets here. 6 weeks. 6 weeks out.
6 weeks out.
6 weeks out before the little fella gets here.
So we'll be in the middle of the NCAA tournament run.
Sweet 16.
Yeah, all right.
Sweet 16 run.
So that might help.
Absolutely.
So, but have you already got your stuff?
What is stuff?
I
don't know what stuff is.
Your Valentine's stuff. See, you already had the message right there. So we're just trying to check.
Right.
Your coach is just hiding their head over there. I don't know.
Yes, I have my stuff.
Yes.
For your Valentine's Day.
Your gift. I didn't know if you were getting just one gift for her, more than one. Did you get flowers?
No.
No.
I was instructed with harsh gavel not to get flowers, because flowers come, flowers go. We need to have something more permanent, something that can be everlasting.
So she had to tell you what to get her.
Yes, I'm very coachable. I'm very coachable.
Very coachable.
Yes, I'm very coachable. Just as my coaches did told me earlier, women just want to be told what to do. That's what they do. Quick question for all our females out there. I would love some audience participation.
Don't throw anything.
My coaches told me, women, that you just want to be told what to do. Just tell me what I need to do, and we will do it. Women out there, would you agree with that? By agreeing, a round of applause if you agree with that. Crickets. Crickets, women. Thank you very much. It's a vote of affirmation for Coach Hodges and Coach White. I feel good about myself.
Well, I see Coach Hicks, but I don't. Oh, there's Mary Tyler Moore over there with the hat on. So
the show is degenerated.
Yeah.
We're losing it.
What's bad part?
We're losing it at this point.
Coach Stephanopoulos probably don't remember Mary Tyler Moore. That's probably a little.
We need to get her by the statue, twirling
it up.
Yeah.
If she'll come on, we'll let her throw the hat up before the end of the show.
Right.
Because it
That'd
couldn't
be a great
go.
send-off.
Yes, it would.
Get
or she could let
music.
you wear the hat and you could sit in it.
Andrew's out as producer.
Yeah.
They need to let us run this thing. If we can take this thing global, we get some theme music.
Well, we're already on the World Wide Web.
we've got a nice crowd participation. We got to dream big around here, Jason.
I think we need our own theme music, so that's what.
Yes.
Your part needs its own theme music.
I think so.
We can get
Statler's.
Yes, that's true.
Statler brother reference.
When we come back, we'll talk a little bit about. Let's see, even our production people are getting up.
Yeah.
Well, is it like union now?
It seems like we've had some sort of threat where we've got people abandoning ship left and right.
When we come back, we'll talk a little bit about the upcoming game against Austin Peay in the last week of the regular season. That's all coming up on this edition of the Eagle. Welcome back to the Eagle Sports Coaches Show. So, Tom Hodges has joined us.
We've lost a little momentum.
Austin Peay coming up on Saturday night. Austin Peay got a big win last night.
Well, it was a big win for Coach Daniels and her team. Went to Murray State and got a really nice win. Kind of shook things up in the standings a little bit. It was a good win from our point of view because Murray is ahead of us, but it's bad in the sense that Austin Peay's kind of finding themselves much like they do this time of year. So we'll have to certainly pack up the energy bus and head down to Clarksville ready for a battle.
Oh, a tough place to play, too. Clarksville is very tough. Their men will be playing a bracket buster game right after us, so they should be a good crowd on hand for the doubleheader at Clarksville on Saturday night.
Absolutely. Their women's team they're really fighting hard to make the tournament in Nashville. They're still mathematically alive. They need every game, and certainly they'll be geared up and ready to play us. They're playing a totally different lineup and really a totally different style than what we saw when we played them here in Moorhead. So it's going to present some challenges. What we'll have to do this week is really focus on ourselves and clean up a lot of little loose ends that we have time to do.
I like the fact that since February, it's really been about us. You're trying to get us prepared for whatever seeding we end up finishing in the OVC regular season and get ready for the tournament, and that's what it's all about.
Absolutely. We've got to tend to our own house before we tend to anybody else's. You know, it's the old adage: you sweep your own front porch before you go clean somebody else's off. And we certainly have been in that mindset and that mold. Feel like we're progressing a little bit with that point of view. So we won't do anything different. We'll continue to be the best Moorhead State basketball team that we can be, and as my old mentor said, we'll tally it up at the end.
Next week, a big week, the final regular season games of the year, and of course you have two good teams coming in, and of course senior night's always a special night here at Moorhead State, and you've had two outstanding seniors this year.
Well, obviously we couldn't have gone through this year without Courtney Lumpkin and Linda Dixon. They've just meant so much to this program before I got here last year, and their legacy will continue long after they're done competing. So really want to start and get the word out right now that that's going to be a special night next Saturday night, week from Saturday, with our team, and then Coach Tyndall and his team honoring their seniors. It's going to be a big night. We need a big crowd. Those games will mean a pretty significant amount of tournament implication in and through Saturday. So we need to start really getting the word out right now.
Tell us a little bit about what you want to accomplish between now and then as you take a look.
Take care of my stuff. We have to have stuff taken care of. That is the first thing we need to accomplish for Coach Maxwell Hodges. We've got to continue to get better at the post. Thought we got probably the best overall post play last night. McKenzie played really well. Ashar played better than she has in the past couple games. We'll need her to continue to progress. But when we get 19 points and 18 rebounds out of the 4 and 5 spot, that's really good production for us. Kristen Perry came in and gave us some good minutes there late. Tyler Eachwin is playing with really good energy for us. So I'm really proud of kind of the progression that we've had amidst tough circumstances. They hadn't got their head down. they've still stayed positive and energetic through it all, and that's really important as we look to carry this thing. Our season comes down every year in the Ohio Valley Conference, men's and women's basketball. It comes down really to 3 days in Nashville, 3-4 days in Nashville. Everything that you do leading up to that certainly matters, but it comes down to how well are you playing and how well are you playing together those 3 or 4 days in Nashville.
Do you shorten your practice time now? You hear Coach Calipari say that he's down to an hour and 30 minutes right now because you come in and get your work done, and you're trying to save some legs. What's the philosophy on the women's side?
Yeah, we've really shortened up. My philosophy's always been you start in October at about 3 hours. By December, you need to be down to about 2 hours. January, you need to be down to about an hour and a half. February hits, you need to be at an hour, hour 10 at the most. If you're still having to teach and correct things over an hour and 10 minutes in February, you're probably got more issues than a practice session is there to address. So we'd certainly want to save legs. We're going about an hour, hour and 10 minutes every day. We've given the ladies a couple days off because they had 2 games in 3 days. So rest right now is certainly more important. There have been more gold medals lost by overtraining than undertraining, and that's certainly a method that I subscribe to.
Eastern Illinois and UT Martin is atop the standings, as we talked about, 12-1 for Eastern Illinois. UT Martin is 11-1. Then you have the mix from 3, 4, 5, and 6, and we're right in the hunt. We kind of control our own destiny.
Yeah, I feel like we went out 9-7 will certainly probably get us to a 3 seed or the 4 seed. You win 2 out of the next 3, 8-8 probably gets you right there in the mix of it. But we control our own destiny. We take care of our house. We can very easily be set up for a bye and sit there waiting on somebody to play a game, then we would take the next one. Either way, whatever happens or shakes out, we just need to be playing our best basketball as we head to Nashville. No matter if we're the 8th seed, no matter if we're the 1 seed, we just got to be playing our best basketball as we get on that bus to Nashville.
People see SIUE in the 3rd spot of the standings, which is a great season for them at 15-9, but they do not count. They do not get to play in the OVC tournament, so realistically you have to just take them out. But we play them next Saturday, but it's a big win for us if we get that.
Right. The game with the Edwardsville is like a wild card game because they do count in conference wins and losses in the standings, but they're excluded from OVC tournament play and NCAA tournament play because they're NCAA provisional members. So that makes that game really important. They're having a great year. The fact that we went to Edwardsville and won, they're in 3rd place right now, could be a really big win as we head down the stretch because they've beaten pretty much everybody else that we could potentially be tied with, and that would be one of the tiebreakers. So that game will certainly be big as we look to close this thing out.
Austin Peay coming up Saturday night, 6:15 will be the tip-off. 6 o'clock Eastern time, airtime on the ESN. And, of course, we want
the
to
ESN. What is the ESN?
Eagle Sports Network.
Eagle Sports Network. It just sounds so official when you say ESN.
Yeah.
Like Sal Palantonio. ESN.
See?
We're trying a little more emphatic.
ESN. See, and now we're getting into Howard Stern.
This is Tom Hodges for the
ESN. See, you do it well. See, they're plotting against you over there.
Yeah.
They've been plotting against you since you mentioned it.
It's dangerous.
Yeah.
It's dangerous.
I still want the hat. Get the hat, man.
Right.
Get her hat.
She made that herself.
Did she really?
She knit it with her. She knit.
Is that
however you knit, I guess that's how you did it. That's my best impersonation of knitting.
Does she? No, you have to knit and purl or something.
Right.
So you have to.
I felt like she did a great job.
We want the hat. He wants to don the hat on the tape. Watch her. She don't even want to give you the hat.
It's not coming off the hat.
Well, it's already come off the head.
Yeah.
She just doesn't want. She does not even pay attention to you now.
No. What's new?
It's true. But we want to invite everyone out next Thursday and Saturday. anything surprised you thus far in the OVC? I mean, you take a look at some of the teams that we've played. It's been kind of a wild up and down season besides Eastern Illinois and UT Martin, which we knew were two of the better teams going into the season.
I think Edwardsville's kind of surprised everybody. We played them twice last year, so we kind of knew what type of team they would have. Murray might have snuck up on a few people and gotten in the thick of things. I think Austin Peay, everybody thought Austin Peay may be a little better than what they played, but they're starting to play at a high level. So, yeah, it's been an interesting season. It's going to be anybody's race once we get to Nashville, and that's the beauty of March Madness.
Once again, Thursday and Saturday next week, we'll have Eastern Illinois and SIUE comes to town, and of course Saturday night we want a huge crowd. We want a huge crowd Thursday too, but Saturday night to salute Courtney Lumpkin and Linda Dixon, our two seniors, and next week we'll try to get you a better time slot. You'll have to talk to Andrew about that, though.
I don't want to seem pushy. I'm just happy to be on the ESN. On the ESN representing the Eagles Sports Coaches Show.
Yeah.
This is part of ESN programming.
Yes,
Would that be correct?
So you're on the World Wide Web.
Right.
You're also on the radio each Tuesday when we do the show. You're on the radio before and after the games. Right. This Tom Hodges brand is just expanding.
We're real big in Iceland. Do you know that? We're real big in Iceland.
You think somebody's listening?
I think somebody's listening in Iceland. I've had emails.
Okay.
I've had emails.
But once again, good luck against Austin Peay on Saturday. We'll talk to you before the game. And, of course, as we said, airtime will be 6 o'clock, game time 6:15. So one last time today.
One more time with Phelan.
Yes.
Take it from the top.
If you want to get rowdy, as Tom would like for the crowd to get rowdy.
Andrew wouldn't like it. Andrew wouldn't like it.
See, he's shaking his head. We don't care. So, but Tom Hodges has been our guest.
Sorry, didn't mean to wake anybody up. Continue what you're doing.
We'll talk
Continue your lunch. Enjoy your lunch. Your beautiful, wonderful lunch here at Adrian Dorn University Center.
We'll talk Eagle baseball when we return with Jay Sorg on the Eagles. Welcome back to the Side Street Grill here at the Adrian Dorn University Center. So you won't feel bad. Jay Sorg has joined us now.
I know, man.
See?
That's a tough act to follow.
I think we ought to move this more to a nighttime show because with Hodges,
I'm going to have to go on first from now on. I can't follow that. I'm not as witty.
Baseball season getting ready to start, Jay, and I know that you and your team are ready to rock and roll.
We really are. This has been the best preseason by far that we've had. We've played 117 innings in the preseason, so this is the most prepared we'll be to go south. So we're excited.
But it's usually like our luck, the fact that you had some great weather in January. Now as the season gets closer, snow on the ground, and it's cold finally.
Well, that's why we schedule south early. And we'll go to Mercer, and it'll be about 65 to 70 degrees, and I'll feel bad about the weather here, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
And but, no, we're excited. If we can keep the rain away, we should be able to get 4 good games in.
What's key early on in the season? I mean, first of all, you don't want to get anyone hurt early on, but is it trying to handle the pitchers? I don't know if you do number of pitches or let them stretch out early, but you don't want to throw them in to the fire at the beginning of the year.
No, we'll have a pitch count for our guys, and it'll be different for each person. And I'll tell you, our pitch count this year will be higher than it's ever been in the past. So hopefully we can get our starters deeper into the game.
Tell us a little bit about your personnel. I mean, you got some great people coming back. A couple of your players won preseason awards. So, Andrew Deeds is one of the best players in the league. Tell us a little bit about him.
Well, let's start with Andrew. And, Andrew was a freshman All-American, Louisville Slugger freshman All-American. Guy's been a big part of our program, and I really think he's talented enough to be Conference Player of the Year if he has that type of a season. He's got that kind of talent and very versatile, very toolsy, and we're going to lean on him heavily from an offensive standpoint. And I think we have enough around him where they're going to have to pitch to him.
Okay, let's just go around the bases. First base, what does the Eagle
man,
look like?
You're going to put me on the spot. Well, let me preface it by this.
You can go around the infield. We'll just go around the infield.
I'm going to tell you, this is the deepest club we've ever had. And because of that, we're going to play a bunch of different combinations. And for me to go around the field and tell you one guy, it's just not going to happen. We're really 2 or 3 deep in a lot of positions. But what I can tell you is this. We're going to be a much better defensive club than we've been in the past. And I think from an infield standpoint, we're going to catch the ball at us better. And from an outfield standpoint, we're going to be very rangy. We've got a lot of speed out there. And I think that's going to obviously show up in our pitching staff. And so we're excited.
Has to be great as a coach to have 2 deep or 3 deep and have a problem of maybe who's going to get some playing time early. After you get into the season, it's whoever's hot and they get the playing time.
Yesterday, we went through lineups for a bunch of different scenarios, and you talk about 4 coaches who couldn't make their mind up yesterday. That's the way we were, and that's a great problem to have, and it's the first year I think we've ever had a problem like that. And what's going to happen is we're going to play a lot of combinations, and when we get to conference, which is 20 games, we'll play 20 games hopefully by then, we're going to hopefully be able to match up with that opponent we play, and that's from a pitching end and a position player standpoint.
You mentioned pitching and had a kid that's coming in on the stopper list, and that's a very elite list.
It is. Matt Duncan was a junior college All-American and transitioned to getting some preseason honors, and really the key for us is we got to make sure we give him the ball with the lead. That's the caveat to it. So. But he's been, we are very happy with him in the fall. We like what we've seen out of him in the spring, and we're going to give him the ball every time we can with the lead.
Tell us a little bit about the OVC race. I know that year in and year out, there's some teams atop of the standings, but, once you get started, you never know what's going to happen.
I think this going into our 5th year, I think this is the second best year for the OVC. I thought 2 years ago the league was extremely talented, 22 players drafted out of the league. I don't see it being quite that good, but it's better than all the other years we've been here, and it's going to be very tough from top to bottom. There's not a team that won't be able to compete with other teams in this league.
And does it, I guess, early on in the season have an advantage of the South teams? Because we were in Jacksonville State in January, and they were getting ready to go outside. I mean, even though we got to go outside, they usually don't have that much of bad weather.
It can be, and, the nice part about it is we have 20 games until we have to get to that point, and hopefully by then it's all evened out.
So you start at Mercer, and then, you're on the road a little bit. You come home, and that's when we want some of the Eagle fans to start coming out.
We do. We play Jackson State. In fact, this year we are home earlier than we usually are. We play Jackson State early. That'll be the second weekend of the season, and they're coming north. So I kind of hope it's a little cold for them. Give us a little bit of an advantage.
Of course, that Jackson State will be February 24th, and that looks like a 3-game series at Sunny Allen Field, and then. You don't dodge anyone. You go from Jackson State to the University of Kentucky.
Yeah, they're preseason top 30, and they have some very talented arms. And I think probably more so than any other year, I'm excited to go down there and play.
That's always good. You mentioned your coaching staff a while ago. You as a coach, people tell you you're just as good as your staff, and you got some good people on your staff.
Really do a good job. Jason Neal's been around. In fact, he was here before I was here, and has done a great job as our recruiting coordinator. And 17 new players or 17 new faces you'll see on our club this year. And he was able to run that recruiting effort. Coach Dylan Lawson been here the last 3 years, and he was very instrumental in the junior college recruiting. And you see a lot of those new faces. We talked about new faces, but we won't be young because we have a lot of junior college players. And that was Coach Lawson was really in charge of that. And then Graham Johnson probably is one of the biggest pickups we've had all year long, and what he's been able to do with our pitching staff. And I think every returning pitcher looks so much better than they did in the previous year and the last 2 years. And then, of course, with the newcomers, we've got some freshmen. They're going to be ready to go right at it, and I think there's a huge development that came through the fall for those guys.
As a former minor league instructor and a minor league coach, this is the best part of the year, isn't it? The pitchers and catchers getting ready to report in Florida or Arizona. I know you spent many days in the Cincinnati Reds organization, but if you're a baseball fan, right now is the best time of the year.
We're getting ready to get into the best part of the year for anybody if you're a sports fan, with the basketball coming up, spring training starting. Our season's starting. So for me, this is the best time of year for sports.
Always get your advice on the Reds. So you spent many years in the Reds organization as a player, manager, instructor, coach, anything. But the Reds made some major moves this year.
I think the Reds, to me, look like the preseason favorite in that division. I really like what they've done. They didn't have to spend a lot of money to do it. And, if you look at a guy like Ludwig and he can protect Votto, I think that offense takes off. And, of course, what they've done on the mound, they've made themselves into a good starting staff, and that bullpen should be a lockdown-type bullpen.
It's funny the fact that the two big things may be free for the Reds as Prince Fielder and, St. Louis lost Pujols.
Well, I think you saw the Reds make those moves. You're probably looking at a limited time with Votto. You've got to win with him now. And when you have two great players, and then, of course, with Braun having to sit out for 50 games, that division is there for the taking, and you saw them take advantage of that in the offseason.
How much fun is it? Or, I always harken back on when I was growing up in Paintsville. We had our minor league season, single-A rookie league, and we didn't get started till, late. But this part, being in Florida as you were, because they had moved to Arizona after you left, it had to be great. I know it's a lot of work, but it's a lot of great times when you saw the players that were coming into spring training and what they could do for your team or the major league club.
Well, the fun part about it is everybody's equal. Everybody's got a chance to win, and everybody's excited about their season. And, of course, all the fans that come down there, there's an energy down in Florida at that time, and I was a huge fan of being in Sarasota. I just love that city. And so it was a busy time, but, man, you talk about, some of my best memories come from being there in spring training.
People don't think that's a lot of work, but in the mornings, you do a lot of work in the mornings as the spring training and everything before maybe they do have some free time in the afternoon. Once they get started with the spring training games, you're working out in the morning and still playing in the afternoon.
Well, I know personally for me, because I was running our minor league spring training, I'd be at our complex at 5 in the morning, and you're not walking out of there till 6 o'clock at night usually, or if the big league club was playing a night game at home, then usually you had to stay there and do something with that. So they were long days, but, it was a lot of fun.
Morehead State will open up on the 17th at Mercer, and that'll be a 4-game series with the doubleheader on the 18th. Jackson State on February 24th, 25th, 26th at Morehead before they go to the University of Kentucky on the 28th, and then hosting the University of Buffalo beginning in March. That's going to be a very busy early part. Hopefully we can get it all in.
No, you're right. And we're going to go to Mercer, 39-20 last year, and they are ranked in the top 50 in the RPI. We're going to find out a lot about our club right away. I'm excited about the guys who are going to start for us this from a pitching standpoint, and we're going to see a lot of position player combinations out there.
Jay, good luck.
Yep.
We'll talk to you later on. We'll have you on a lot of time during the season, I hope. And Jay Sorg, baseball coach at Morehead State. We'd like to remind everyone that tomorrow night here on the ESN, Morehead State men will be traveling to Austin Peay. That's an 8 o'clock tip-off. We'll have all the pregame action at 7:45. That's going to do it for this edition of the Eagle Sports Coaches Show. I'd like to thank our lineup this afternoon. Kevin Bolton, we talked a little tennis. Of course, Tom Hodges, we recapped the women's basketball year. And, of course, Jay Sorg has joined us to talk a little baseball. That's going to do it from the Adrian Dorn University Center. For our producer, Ian Corbin, I'm Jason Blanton. Until next time, so